Hi, this is David, and I have some trepidation about making this video, but I think it's necessary, and I think it's the right thing to do. I don't ever want to falsely accuse anybody of anything. When I don't have the facts, I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't have the facts. I can't read into people's minds. All I can do is report to you the facts. Then you decide for yourself. I mean, you're all adult people. And let me tell you what I did. I have a daughter that's 14, and she wants to buy a iPhone. I wish she'd have a Wii phone. Or a wee phone, I don't know. Damn thing, it goes to the satellite and it dances on the table. I don't know totally what an iPhone does, but I know they're expensive. Well, I've taught the girl that if you want something, you work for it. And she's worked around the house, and she's done some really good things for me. She can cut baseboards and put them on, and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, she's learned to work. So she came to me and she said, "Dad, I want to buy an iPhone. Would you buy it?" I said, "Hell no." My usual kind self. And so anyway, I said, "You can buy it, just get some jobs." So she's been coming to me and wanting paying jobs and cleaning mirrors, and she carpet cleaned the house with our carpet cleaner, and she's just a wonderful little person. And most of you know that I adopted these two children, Abigail, the older one, and Allison, the younger one, and their mother. They're all three from the Philippines. And a long story short, I said, well, why don't you start your own little business? You know, you can go around and carpet clean people's places, and you can go around and do house cleaning or other kinds of jobs. So anyway, when I came home from the Home Depot, my little one says, "Why'd they put an E on that, Home Depot, or an O on that?" Well, I don't know. Anyway, there were these flyers all over the trees. I go, shit, they're not allowed to do that. So I told them, go get your flyers off the trees and just put one over on the bulletin board, and maybe someone will call you. Well, someone did call, and I happened to receive the call. The kids were out, and I talked to the lady, and she said she was 88 years old. Now, I don't know if she was talking out of a cemetery. Maybe. I don't know. But she made me roll over in my grave, I'll tell you that. So anyway, she said, well, I got the kid's flyer, and what's the story? And I told her, I said, well, look, she's 14 years old. She's an A student. She plays classical piano, and she wants to earn money to buy things that she wants. And she, oh, that's wonderful. And I said, well, you know, I try to train my kids to be workers and not just consumers. So anyway, she asked about her experience, and I said, well, she's worked in the house with her mother, and she's done a little construction work with me, but you know, she's learning. Oh, that's wonderful. That's what I just need someone to push the vacuum and just help me a little bit around the house, the light work. And I, okay, well, why don't you give me your number? And she couldn't remember it, but she could remember her address. So when we tried to call her, the number didn't work. So we went over there, and Abigail pounded on the door, and the doorbell, she has two doorbells, and she never answered. It was quite a long time that we stood there trying to get in. Well, a long story short, we went over to the clubhouse, and the lady that ran the condos there, we told her this lady didn't answer her door, maybe she needs some help. And the lady said, oh, she's deaf, she can't hear very well. So we went back, and the lady said, well, why don't you leave a note on her door? Well, we did. We pounded on the door again, and we did. And then Abigail came home and looked on the computer and see if she could find the number of this lady. Well, she couldn't. Well, here's what happened. The lady calls me back, and she says, well, I've decided not to use Abigail. I said, oh. I said, what made you make that decision? Well, she can't reach my chandeliers, and she's inexperienced. I said, okay. Well, I hope that she's not angry with me. I gave references out to other friends in the condos here. I said, okay, thank you very much. Goodbye. Now, those are the facts. What conclusion you draw, I know the Mormons are going to come in and say, you know, he hates the Mormons, he finds excuses. Well, I've always taught my kids skin color doesn't matter, and nationality and language. You pick your friends according to how they treat you. And Abigail has Caucasian friends, she has a Buddhist friend, and she has a couple of black friends, a friend from Tonga, and so she chooses her friends that way. And she doesn't see skin color because I've taught her not to see it. Well, here's what I think happened. And this, again, is just my opinion. Your opinion is as good as mine. But here's what I think happened. First of all, we have cathedral ceilings, and I don't know, they're 20 or 25 feet high. And a child Abigail's age certainly couldn't reach a chandelier. But this lady lived in the basement of the condos. She couldn't have had more than an 8-foot ceiling. So Abigail could stand on a chair and reach any chandelier in her house. And then she says, well, she's inexperienced. And I said, well, to myself, you knew that yesterday. I told you that. What has changed this lady's mind? Well, I didn't want to bring it up to Abby because I didn't want her having an education in discrimination, because this hasn't happened before in Utah. It has not happened to us before. I have to be very honest that there's been nobody, you know, they don't push her forward to put her in #1 like they do the Molly Mormons, but, you know, I don't think too much of that as far as discrimination. So anyway, I went back over my mind what happened, and we had gone to the office, and this happy BYU cheerleader, blonde, blue eyes, white and delightsome, Abigail was trying to get information about the lady, or a phone number, and how we could contact her. Well, I think that what happened was after we left, the BYU girl, I'm assuming, but she was LDS, you could tell, and the old lady was LDS. I forgot to say to you, the first thing the old lady said to me in making the appointment was, does she smoke or drink? Well, not too many 14-year-olds smoke and drink. I should have said yes. She's hooked to cigars, and she drinks a lot of vodka and orange juice. But I didn't. I'm trying to help this little girl learn about America and get her own job, and she made the flyers up and she marketed it, and why shouldn't she be able to have an equal, not a superior, but at least an equal chance? Well, the first thing I knew was the 88-year-old woman was LDS. Well, you go back in the Book of Mormon 88 years, and they've changed some words because they've had their ass kicked over and over again. Their Book of Mormon says white and delightsome. Now their Book of Mormon says white and pure. It's not, or it's not white, it's pure and delightsome. So they've changed that word. Well, read the Book of Mormon. God, you know, read the Book of Mormon. If you don't think it's prejudiced, that's okay. I think it is. They called dark-skinned people loathsome. That's not a popular word, but it means a bum. They don't work, they're dirty, and they're handout people. So anyway, she's 88, so that's her experience in the Mormon church. And when the BYU little girl called, she says, well, she's very, very small. Well, Filipino people tend to be small. And then she said, and she's really dark. Well, that's supposition. I'm going to tell you the truth. You know, I got 400 videos in there, and I've never lied to you. I suspect that the dark skin was the reason that she wouldn't have Abigail in her house. And it made me sad. It made me sad because um, she's worked hard. She deserves to be employed, and she's willing to work. She's a hard little worker. And so anyway, I just wanted to share with you. You make your own decision, you know, because this lady was hot, hot, hot the day I talked to her. Oh, that's wonderful. She's learning how to work, and I just have some light work around. Never mentioned chandeliers. And anyway, her chandeliers, a 6-foot man could reach all the way up to the ceiling. So it wasn't chandeliers, and it wasn't new information. She got her information somewhere else. She never saw Abigail, but the house lady, clerk of the condos, did, and I think she passed that information. And the old lady is discriminatory, and Mormons continue to be discriminatory. They hate black people. They've always hated black people. The only reason, I think, what was it, 78, 71, that they let black people have the priesthood, and that was because the IRS was chasing their ass concerning their tax-exempt status, and the prophet saw Jesus, and Jesus says, I don't want you to lose your tax-exempt because we'll never be able to build that $5 billion mall, so just bring him in and ignore him. So that's what they did. But anyway, I wanted to be honest, and I haven't had this situation. All my other kids are Caucasian. These two have darker skin, and I've warned them that there may be events. And so I told Abigail today, I think that's what happened. Well, she's a pretty strong girl, and she just took it in stride and goes, that's the way the Mormons are, that's the way they are. But the Mormons speak for themselves. Their scriptures speak for themselves. Their behaviors speak for themselves. The amount of money they spend on humanitarian aid compared to a $5 billion mall is embarrassing. So anyway, I wanted to just let you know how I feel, and I've given you the facts. And if these were your kids, am I being just overprotective, or am I being honest with them that these kinds of discriminatory things can happen to them, and especially among the Mormon population, and especially among the older Mormons? Thanks.